continues to do very, very well for himself. Good damage per minute, but number one on his team both games.
Yeah, he was a massive split pushing threat in this game. And honestly, this game was a bit easier for Envy than the first game. Now, Team Liquid, they got behind in both games, but in game number one, it was really significant. Team Liquid had an 8,000 gold lead in game number one before Envy started to retake control. In game number two, they also had an early lead, you know, with the first blood, with the solo kill, but that one was actually only about 3,500 gold before Envy really started to take control. So it looks like Envy are making less mistakes in the early game or being able to clean them up quicker.
Yeah, and I mean, that gold spike, though, was only 15 minutes in. Like, that, the gold lead is, like, numerically smaller. This stage of the game, that is still super substantial, and Liquid continues to make mistakes to let Envy in. It's both sides, of course. It's Envy making very good plays to get back in and winning these team fights, and it's Liquid just sort of playing like it's Challenger solo queue, saying, hey, we got some ganks off. Smart ping Dragon, let's show up. And Envy's like, but we set up for Dragon. We're just going to outmaneuver you, gold lead or not.
You know, that as well, you know, it is the direction in the mid game. It's also how they're playing team fights, right? The team fights from Team Liquid definitely have had a lot of holes, and Envy have been able to take over pretty reliably when the game does switch to that stage. Let's see if they can draft to try and shore up that weakness.
Yeah, we'll see. This time around, we have switched sides. It was Liquid's choice. They chose to play red. They did not like the way a pick ban was shaping up before, so we'll see how much actually changes. So far, though, these bans are not different, with the Shen and Tahm Kench still coming through as Envy's first two bans. The Karma still off the table. Now, the question is, do you still ban away Gangplank? Do you still ban away Kennen? What's the counter pick's going to look like here? Because Liquid gets last say.
And what happens with Kassadin? Kassadin has become the one of the most important parts of the game this time around. Kassadin Sivir combo, one part is done.
So it's actually Liquid saying, we don't want to have to worry about Sivir. We'll ban it away. No one gets to play this champion at all. That means they leave up the Kennen or the other champion they banned, the Gangplank, at some point. There are Gangplank counterpicks out there, and it's actually Envy who are choosing to ban it. Yeah, it's interesting, actually. We were seeing blue side GP bans, which is a bit more atypical, but that's the case we're in, which also means that they've left up the Gnar. And maybe Gnar gets first picked by Sir, but it means Lorlo gets to play it if he wants to. Kennen's still going to be removed off the table, so the counterpick to Gnar is gone, and so it gets locked in right away. Not sure if Lorlo thought about that coming or not, but
so
that's the choice.
Lorlo does play Rumble as well as Echo and Aurelia. They can go for any of those, try and kill him, but Gnar has been so good in so many different ways. You know, the split pushing, the team fighting, you know, going for some mallet build, trying to chase build down, create pressure that way. It's a very versatile pick, and I think Envy are very happy with the changes to this draft phase, even though both teams have been choosing red when given the option after
game
one. So
Liquid came into the series thinking the blue side is better for them. They've changed their tune now, and champs like will look a little bit different. We got to figure out what Liquid thinks they can do to turn this one back around, and it's gonna be a couple of things different. The Rek'Sai coming through as an early grab, and this looks like they've just taken away Envy's drafts. The Braum, actually, they're considering very important, and Matt's gonna grab that.
Definitely has been. And Arc second, like the feel of that Rek'Sai. Gonna stick with that one.
Okay. Well, we'll see who gets traded back here with this one. Aurelia seems unlikely here, but the Jhin wouldn't be too surprising, honestly. That's going to be locked in already. Looks like Envy not going to show too many things here, as they're just hovering junglers, and they say, at least Gragas, let's make it Gragas. Not showing any of their other matchups. Even though they could pick support safely, and they could blind pick a mid laner, they will not.
I would expect the Ashe pick here from Jhin. Haven't seen him play it too often, but that would be the go-to down if you move down the line. Ashe, the common pick into Jhin, and I would assume that they would save their counter pick here until the other solo is revealed by Envy. So just pick up AD carry, and I'd say top laner, because you're not really going to surprise anybody.
I think you definitely save mid for last. At this point of the draft, I think there's no obvious blind pick mids. Nothing too surprising came out of the drafts here, and you pick, you pick red side for a reason. To get a kind of pick on mid lane is usually one of the major reasons for that. Also worth noting, Envy have a bit of a lower damage composition. This is the first time that Seraph's not on what could be kind of considered a hard carry.
Gnar does
and
a lot
Jinx
of damage, though.
comes through as the final pick here for Jint. And well, yes, he can do a lot of damage. It's not Passive, it's not Aurelia. And with that in mind, you've now got a super high damage backliner. I think Jinx is super strong. Now, keep in mind, we are still playing on 6.15, the same patch from the playoffs. So this is not with the Super Mega Death Rocket buffs that came in 6.17. This is the pre-buff Jinx, but I think the champ is still very strong.
Yeah, I mean, it is strong if you can protect her, if you can get that DPS uptime, allow her to freely auto-attack, allow her to chase people down, get the resets on the passive. However, it's pretty scary to do that because you're playing Jinx into a Gragas Gnar, and now on top of that, you have to worry about Cassiopeia ultimate.
Yeah, and the Black Shield to go along with it. I love Morgana into Braum. All his CC is very well telegraphed, and any good player on land should be able to Black Shield an important target before that CC lands. Hako gets the Morgana to make sure people stay alive and stay happy.
Your damage question has been completely solved here. You got your flat armor penetration, Jhin, and the Cassiopeia. That right there is enough, not to mention the rest of what EnVy are fielding here.
Right.
So it looks like they have a pretty good setup here running into this team. I'm very curious as to what their mid lane into Cassio can be here.
Syndra gonna be the one here, so pickup potential I think is still a bit better for EnVy. You've got Dark Binding, you've got Deadly Flourish, you've got Kragas Flashes and whatnot with the team fight power to back it up, but a Syndra can do the same kind of thing. Both these teams running 2.5 carries. Gnar and Echo both can just snowball off the rails and take games over, but they tend to play tanks and play as a tank in more neutral games, so we'll have to see which way that goes. But otherwise, it's very focused on the mid laners and AD carries here with the potential that Jinx can honestly 1v5 with the right situation.
All right, well, he's going to have Bard shield in front of him with the peeling of Arc Second. Another thing I really do like, you know, the Syndra Jinx backline. Syndra's AoE line stun can get a couple of priority targets in the same thing, and Braum can also zone off another wide area of the team fight. So there's some really good possibilities for jungle corridor fights, you know, for fights leading up to objectives, to try and use the terrain to your advantage when you do have these really long range line stuns and AoE things that they are packing.
All right, so we are getting ready to go into the third and what could be final game of this match. This could be the end of the season for Liquid. They need to win this one to pull it back in. So now is the time to put your faith and your hope and your votes behind your teams. Hashtag TLWin, hashtag EnVyWin, cheering in the audience. There's someone with a sign saying our Lord and Savior cheering on for EnVy's AD carry. And we are on to the rift for game 3.
Well, he's looking to deliver on his prophecy of the 3-0 for EnVy. Meanwhile, Team Liquid fans looking for that reverse sweep. No strangers to the reverse sweep. They have learned from it being used against them. And
maybe they can turn the tables. We'll see what happens. It's actually, I want to bring up actually the Our Lord and Savior sign, because it's actually been the pregame topic of the players every single game. For whatever reason, it's one of my favorite things about LCS is the 5 minutes they're in the lobby before the game starts talking about whatever they consider topical. Sadly, they spell Savior with a U, but that's the Canadian way, I understand. You know, US English doesn't have that, but that's okay.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
is it okay?
I mean, I'm not going to hate you for it. I just don't spell it that way. Here we go. Jungle Invade for EnVy. Arc Second running away. Bodies. I don't know if he... I mean, I guess if Deadly Flourish lands, potentially you get chained down. If he doesn't know Dark Binding could be behind, I think it's...
I mean, exactly. It's all about what you are working with, right? They don't have information on who's up there. EnVy only had 3 people. They didn't have the Morgana or the Jhin with them, but Arc Second did not know that, so he's playing safer.
Phoenix trusting his juking skills to get away from the binding. If he had flashed, he would have lived, but if he had bound, he would have died.
But it's a large bit of damage, and that's going to be a whole potion he's missing for the lane phase.
Yeah, it's too late to recall and heal, so that is a big deal.
Oh, they're going for a delayed invade here on the top side.
Flashless Rek'Sai. Seraphim Proxy going to wait till they pull aggro. And here comes the play. Body slams. Arc Second, good damage. The boomerang slowing as well. Here comes the chase, and Arc Second can't get away. The flash chase, and that's going to be the kill. First blood to EnVy's jungler, and now Lorlo going to fight back what he can, but be careful. He's in a 1v2, and suddenly bit off more than he can chew. That's a not good spot to be in. Echo wished he could rewind this early game and do it all over again.
Oh, that is very unlucky for Team EnVy. Arc second. I mean, not for Team Envy, for Team Liquid.
I know we keep expecting Envy to be on red, but no, beautifully done. The Envy invade working out.
I mean,
amazing.
They invade with 3 people, get the flash with only a Gragas body slam, and then they go punish that flash right after. This has honestly been something that's more and more common in pro play, is going for those invades on the top side, since junglers have become more and more predictable. Starting up there for the Krug buff. The ward, trinket ward that was placed in that 3-man invade, which got the flash also.
Ooh, he's got a crit. Matt knew he wouldn't die to it, but it still means a lot of damage. Envy now winning the laning phase, and suddenly it's a game with Envy winning the early game.
Exactly. What does the game look like when Team Liquid don't even get the early advantage here? Team Envy making a very good case in the opening moments. But as we were talking about on the starting area there up by the Krugs, that early invade provides so much value for Envy. They got the jungler flash plus the trinket ward down to go punish the flash afterwards.
Underlord triggered. Gets a bit more damage down, and yeah, 900 gold lead for Team Envy bringing into this one. Feels good. Arc second just slowly and painstakingly clearing through his jungle. No longer gets a leash because his top laner has to actually play the laning phase.
Also without flash. You know, Lorlo took a beating there. He had to use his teleport early. He had to use his flash early. Lorlo right now is in a very bad spot as well. And he's trying to clean up the minions up by his turret here, as Seraph is backing off and respecting the jungle pressure.
Yeah, although weirdly enough, Proxen's jungle has been a little bit slow. He took the first blood and recalled for a Hunter's Potion to have infinite resources while going through the jungle. But he actually hit level 3 a little bit later than Arc second did. Now trying to go into the jungle, only for the pink ward though. He could have stolen red if he knew it was there, but playing it quite a bit safer. And Proxen will not really punish much, as Arc second takes his first recall and heals back to full, and is honestly not that far behind Proxen. He's down a scuttle or 2.
There are also changes, you know, you don't get a lot of experience for the pre-minion spawn first bloods anymore. So yeah, that first blood was great for gold, but you talk about experience levels, and that is very important as well. Gragas now, you know, jumping out to level 6 super soon.
Yeah, camps are worth so much. The like 50 XP you get from the kill is literally a quarter of a camp in terms of value. So not the worst in the world. Arc second gonna go ahead and start his blue buff now, and though both junglers are a little bit slow, he's at least on pace somewhat. And Phoenix is going to get a nice 5-minute blue buff here. If Liquid need a way to come back, Phoenix is going to be one of the major actors, and that attack comes through and has a blue buff to try to push through his lane advantage. Right now, though, down 8 minions under Ninja. He's going to get some of those back now.
5 to be exact.
Then
those up.
4. Eventually. Ooh, finds Ninja, though. And we do not have the blue on Ninja, though. Proxen did get that for himself. Let's see how this plays out. And the gold lead's still staying about 900 to 1,000. So far, pretty equivalent. But plus 10 in the bot lane. Lod is doing very well for himself. Keep in mind, a first blood that early is only worth 500, not 600 total gold, because the assist pool goes down. But that still means 400 to 500 gold was gained from the laning phase itself in terms of farming better. He's still looking quite good. See if they can find another play pretty soon. As the wave will push toward Liquid's turret now. Neither jungler really pulled down.
Hako doing a good job of harassing there on the Morgana. Also has Ignite for both sides in the bottom lane. So definitely jungler kill pressure down there. Binding actually does land. Pretty good chunk here.
Fade back a little bit onto Lod, and yeah, nice zap shot from Jinth, but otherwise it's been Envy who just look much better in this laning phase. There's the crit. Q's gonna knock down the melee minion, and an early recall for Lod actually got him a cull. Same for Jinth, but just better items on this Jhin right now.
Proxen went through the whole jungle, laid down deep wards, but did not step in that brush to see the pink ward that saw him as he walked by. And now Ninja's gonna have to go down to the bottom side of the map. I think that would be a little bit ambitious to go for a tower dive there when they don't see Proxen.
Yeah, they really didn't have much vision. They called it off. I think it could have been good, but even the parallel convergence coming down lets him know that that Echo did roam and is going to come back up the river. Didn't recall, he did something else.
Summoners still available too, so mid laners can flash out of these ganks. Little roam there. Not going to cost them anything.
Proxen with the Raptor buff.
Found it!
Made aware. Knocks the ward down, feels good. More gold being earned. Aqua, oof. Yeah, that's That's Thunderlord's triggering a Dark Binding for you.
Yeah, he already had walked in 2 ticks from the soil, and so the binding also gets the bonus damage there. This Jinx is getting beat up in lane.
Yeah, Haku is actually going for a pretty greedy build, though. His recall timing ended up being Frostfang and not parts of a Sightstone, so there'll be a bit longer where Envy is going to be wardless down here, and it's going to rely on Black Shield almost exclusively to not get killed off by a gank. So that is a window that Liquid could potentially abuse, knowing it's going to be such a late Sightstone.
Yeah, not only that, but also jungler here, Arc Second, going for the health instead of the early Tiamat. Now, early Tiamat is super duper common now for Rek'Sai to increase the clear speed. It will be a bit more tanky this way, but he's delaying both jungle item and the AoE clear.
It's the same build as last game, where it's just the early Jarum's Fist making that the play right now. Looking like this is going to be Seraph landing a stun and a Q, and Lorlo goes, ow, that was kind of rough. The first pick Gnar is a Kennen ban, and Seraph looks very good in this one. Quick fight for the blue buff. And Ninja's going to grab that one. Poisons it. There we go. Mid lane actually staying pretty close to equal, though. Hakuho going to recall his individual gold. So the funny thing is, I'm cheating, but look what Hakuho buys. He has roughly exactly 800 gold, roughly exactly. He had like 790 gold on the recall, and goes Boots Pink Ward instead of completing the Sightstone. So still not really getting the vision down. Doesn't seem to need it in any way.
I mean, with the way this game is going, right? Both teams are just farming in lane. So I guess if he's going to stay in lane the whole time and not go for the roam, then maybe doesn't feel like investing in the Sightstone quite yet. I definitely would recommend that, though. I have to say, though,
it up. Log gets the Black Shield, runs forward, lands the crit. Here comes Curtain Call. How good is Jinth at dodging? He's not. That's going to be the kill picked up. Log now makes it 2-0. Yeah,
that was very good by Law. You know, once you get tagged by that first one, don't even blow your flash. He's got 3 more bullets left in the chamber, and there's no way you're getting out of that range. Just really good outplay there from Law. Jinth, this Jinx is not working out for them. Getting destroyed in lane. You can see the idea behind it, though, I guess, because I talked about, maybe they're going to look to shore up their team fighting in the draft phase. Actually,
flash knock up into the chain stun into the ulti. That's the kill picked up. Not a chance for Ninja. And Liquid finally gets something good on the scoreboard.
Well, Syndra burst right there, able to get that kill in the mid lane, but Jungler will step in to clear out the minions. So in the end, that's just going to be a kill on the board, whereas the bottom lane is getting destroyed. They also got that first turret gold once again.
On the Lod. He's rich right here. He's up 20 minions. He's up the first turret. Individual gold-wise, it's a 1,500 gold lead just for the AD carry.
And that's a Jhin, one of the early spiking ones, right? He's building right into Ghostblade. That's going to be a super early Ghostblade. And there's not going to be armor on any of these tanks that early on. They've got pink ward control here.
Slipping away from Liquid faster and faster.
If this binding lands, it should be an easy deadly flourish into a... Oh, God.
Ding. That's going to be a block, but here comes a flash follow, and that's going to be easy for Hakuho to get the stun. Goodbye, Jinth is dead. Matt flashes out to keep himself alive, but more pickoffs.
Pink wards, they don't just save lives, but they can also be used offensively right there, yes.
Yeah.
Good binding there from the Fog of War, and that is a dead AD carry. Once again, no chance to use his flash, really, because he was going to die either way, so holds on to it, but Laud is going to take over this game.
Pushing very far ahead, absolutely, yeah. And unfortunately, I think Liquid had no idea if Envy were in the lane brush or in the river. They chose one. They guessed wrong. Here comes the CC chain as Seraph is fighting Lorlo, who is actually winning this one a little bit.
Yeah, Rek'Sai also on the way here, so Seraph definitely wise to back off there.
There you can see they're afraid of it being in that brush, is why he zapped it. He hugs left, and he's like, nope, we were on that side.
I mean, yeah, I guess you can say, hey, you see the projectile, then you should be able to react super quick. He was trying to, he had his mouse over the minions, though, because you're trying to last hit, right? So you would have to see the projectile, move your mouse all the way to the back side of your screen, try and flash it.
Yep.
But not going to be that quick.
Yeah, and the whole time they're watching the bottom side. They think it's in that lane brush. It's the much more common route to gank from.
Yeah. And even if you shoot your zap in there, that doesn't guarantee that it's clean. So it's not like you can hug on that side of the minions either.
And just be like, they must not be there.
Yeah.
Yep. So, smart mind games and Envy with 1,000 damage crit, better than Smite ever could. Secure themselves the Cloud Drake. They run quick. And with that bottom turret already dead, and Jinx herself being a fairly easy to gank AD carry, there's a lot of room to work with here. It's such a difficult game to beat Jinth right now.
You can say that again. He's had it's been a rough series to beat Jinth, actually, with Envy previously running a lot of dive. And this time around, he's just going to get outpaced for the team fights. Everybody's going to try and kill him for the team fight. That's the whole goal. You know, Team Liquid trying to build this around that. But if you're trying to build around one of those late game AD carries that builds off multipliers, and delaying those multipliers early is going to be very rough.
Definitely will. So difficult road ahead for Liquid. There's always the chance to win. We've seen even bigger comebacks come out from Envy. Here comes the curtain call play looking for Phoenix. Arc's going to take some of that up though. And they're going to land another root. It's going to be a bit of damage going back and forth. The dive in. Stun's going to land into Lorlo. Takes a whole bunch of damage. Jinx Rocket means almost nothing though. Hits the back line and Ninja able to flash ways. Here comes the re-engage. Seraph finds Phoenix and there's the kill off from Laud. Nicely done. Lands the crit. And Lorlo in the wrong side of town. Can't find much. A double kill comes through. Laud actually gets himself another as Jinth pops the heal and runs away. And Lorlo will be the final casualty of this one. Ninja actually is going to survive thanks to his Negatron cloak and more kills for Envy.
Yeah, you caution against this Jin taking over the game. It's pretty easy. He roams up to the mid lane. Ninja is very safe because he opens up the ultimate there to zone for Ninja. They know they can't go all in on him, and they kind of baited around there. Envy did a good job of drawing Team Liquid in. Teleport comes down from Seraph, and it's a pretty easy cleanup there as they split up Team Liquid and claim kills across the map here. Second turret goes down for Team Envy, and they're not even going to make this one look close.
Lorlo TPing Rek'Sai, Void rushed across.
But there's a turret still standing. I mean, Proxima gets up here.
Proxim's going to flash. Time Winder, bit of damage, doesn't really mean anything, and that's what you burn a teleport cooldown for, was a bit of damage on a Proxim.
Now you're giving up some more top lane pressure, right? I mean, the top lane's already pushing for Seraph.
That turret might die.
Yeah. Team Liquid struggling at the moment. There it is, though. Cover fire from Laud, Black Shield from Hakuo, and it's a pretty easy bait there for Ninja. He also is able to dodge and flash away. He gets the heal. Actually, that heal was very important for him to be able to survive. Meanwhile, though, everyone else just gets chased down as Laud is king of the hill here in the mid lane and chases everyone out.
You get the final kill there as Lorlo. Ninja knows his limits. He was actually a quarter second away from dying because the phase die was actually cast and almost got the auto attack Lorlo. Not quite though, and he's just fine. Top lane turret actually didn't take too much damage. I thought Seraph was going to get more done on that, but he chose to recall and stay safe. We have new lane assignments now as the Envy dual lane holds the top side for a short amount of time.
95 CS, 15 minutes into the game for the hyper scaling AD carry. Not a pretty picture.
When you have Pickaxe Berserker Greaves for the mid-game team fight, you are not very useful as a champion. It's a very uphill climb. This is almost impossible now. It's getting very, very quickly out of hand for Liquid.
All right, so it is dire for Liquid right now, but Envy, things are looking very bright for them, right? You know, they talked about 3-0ing. It looks very probable that they will come up with that 3-0. Next up in the gauntlet, though,
Cloud9.
It gets very, very difficult very, very quickly. Cloud9 is looking angry. They just lost the finals. They looked a lot better doing it, though, despite, some games, everybody's nitpicking all the mistakes. They got to the finals for a reason. They actually had a hard fight in the finals, and they've made a lot of improvements since the normal season. So that is going to be a very difficult gauntlet opponent to look forward to.
Yes, and that's going to be the test, though, is Envy has to finish this series, and they've got 21 hours until that series starts, presuming that they actually win this game here and close the match out, and they've got to be ready. And of course, here's 3 games of their picks shown to the world to let them know what kind of things they're ready to play, what kind of things they're good at. Look at their tendencies, look at their counters, and they've got to get ready for the C9 set.
I mean, yeah, I guess they did show the Kassadin. Seraph has been playing a lot of Kassadin solo queue, so technically you could scout it, but Seraph plays, like we said, 20 different champions in the LCS. I mean, go ahead, scout Seraph, see what,
I mean, Arc's second plays Jungle Cho'Gath in solo queue. It doesn't mean that he's going to bring it out in the series, so it's going to be said for watching it on the stage.
Yeah, he did show they are willing to play it in the LCS. He's very willing to play a lot of things in the LCS. But yeah, Team Envy, we shall see as they move forward.
Liquid gonna have to dig very deep here in this one. 7,000 down. We've seen bigger comebacks. They're just very rare, but they're gonna hope that it happens. One good team fight can look great. They've got the burst damage. A good Jinx Rocket can secure a kill once she gets, i.e. Hurricane. She can carry some team fights, and if Liquid can drag it out, that happens. But Envy are known to actually play pretty viciously here. They've been able to close the games out once they get their lead in pretty short order, as Ocean Drake spawns in 20 seconds, and they can fight for that.
And Team Envy are very well equipped, right? They've got all the vision control over the objectives, and they have Morgana and Jhin, both very good at punishing people for coming into low vision areas. Pick potential definitely there. Stray binding, Jhin ultimate. Okay, that one is gonna be on Braum, so he gets to block the deadly flourish. Also, Envy are spread out right now. They're getting top lane priority on the minion shoving as well as bottom lane before moving over to get that Drake. This is not the best Drakes for snowballing wind into ocean, but I mean, any Drake is Team Envy property basically, so go and collect.
Yep. Might as well. Make sure you don't leave anything easy off of the map. Liquid playing to contest instead of doing something else across the map. Just kind of seems unfortunate. They're really not making any proactive plays at all. You know they're going to go for Ocean and nothing gets done.
Yeah, Envy pushed in all 3 minion waves. Oh, now they got to pick.
And Phoenix gets slowed. He flashes. It doesn't matter. The Dark Binding to make sure Hakuho flashes to kill secure. 2-0-3. Second highest number of kills in the team. And here comes bot lane. 4 members of Envy. Look at him knock it down.
Mid lane also is being pushed up. Cassiopeia doesn't even have to join this bottom lane push. Ninja's gonna try and take down mid lane while they're at it, and inhibitor turret already under fire. 19 minutes into the game, Ninja does come over, and they're gonna take it.
The game's getting more and more convincing here for Envy. A 19-minute inhibitor take is here in front of us, as they are not relenting in the slightest. Down goes the structure at 1909. Quick retreat. Baron isn't even up yet. They couldn't take it if they wanted to. All Lolo's doing is pushing a turret on the side. Doesn't matter enough.
Yeah, I mean, Team Envy definitely looking better and better as this series goes on too, right?
Yeah.
There's always 2 schools of thought with the gauntlet style games. Oh yeah, you have to work your way up through this gauntlet and play 3 best of 5s, but hey, you get some practice while doing it. Some teams last year, Cloud9 was very outspoken. They're like, we learned a lot during the gauntlet. Our gauntlet run actually improved our team play, kept us practiced, kept us up to date. Yes, you have to show a lot of stuff. Yes, there are possibilities of burnout, but it does depend on how well you can manage players and stuff like that. There are also pros,
Sure, of
you
course.
can work your way up. Your Super Saiyan training doesn't kill you, makes you stronger.
Great. Well, we'll see what it looks like here with this one, because Cloud9, of course, watching this series and ready for the next opponent there. Again, as you mentioned, bouncing back from the TSM finals loss. And even then, Immortals watching that one, waiting as the final boss. And we'll see what that looks like over time. Of course, these teams would be scrimming the entire time, but nothing does quite substitute for on-stage experience in front of the lights, in front of the fans, and making sure this game actually counts. 8,000 the lead now as Baron is spawned, and be looking at topside.
Looks like there will be a meeting here. I mean, Team Liquid, well, we're already projecting later into the gauntlet. They're 7,000 gold down. That can be changed. Remember game 1 where Envy were able to get that team fight really late in the game? They were 8,000 gold down before they turn around this team fight. They get Baron afterwards. Those things are very rare. But if Team Envy botch a Baron attempt, then Team Liquid might be able to try and turn something around. Team Envy, though, they're not going for that. Clean up all of the outer turrets here. Collect that gold.
Let's see what else they can grab. 9,000 now the lead as they're looking for that top lane inhibitor. As Liquid they haven't gotten the time to get some real items, and no major completed items still for that Jinx. There comes the Mega Gnar, lands on a few already. Phoenix gets popped in. Here comes the dive. A great knockback. That's going to be the snipe on the mat as well. An 800 damage crit from the final shot of Curtain Call. And the middle turret's going to be going down already at the 2-for-0. That Mega Death Rocket did basically nothing. Lorlo flashes to save it. Look for Hakuho. Does get one and ults back. That's at least one traded around, but it's still a 4 versus 3. Liquid have very little to do. Mid lane inhibitor going to be dropping as Proxen chases Lorlo out. A couple more shots from Lotta that will be knocked down. 2 inhibitors are dropped, and Envy are very, very close to securing this series, making it the 3-0, and getting that rematch with C9.
And it is important, if you are running through a gauntlet, to have 3 zeros, right? You want to cut down on the games. Yes, it is good to be on stage and get a little bit of practice in, but as they said, 5-game best-of-5 series, especially if the games are long, are very draining. So this one is kind of calming now for Envy. They're so far ahead right now. They're just cleaning up, going for this tower dive. They actually hit a couple good skill shots there. Seraph doesn't hesitate, goes right in on the Gnar. This one is not going to be a training series for them, setting them up for the next couple of stages, reducing the overall games that they do have to play.
Yep. And Lod going for the famed double Blade of Drakthar build, has the same components for another one. I think he might just be ahead of the curve and not realize he's got one already, but...
He's probably going to turn that one into an Infinity Edge.
And one becomes Maw.
Yeah. Or you can just sit on... I'm a big fan of sitting on Serrated Dirk. Serrated Dirk is basically what we use to determine the value of armor penetration. So by definition, it is cost efficient. That's how much armor penetration just costs, because that's its component, right?
And the thing is, armor pen, the only time armor pen actually goes up is into Yomu. Duskblade and Maw both the same armor pen as the Serrated Dirk in the first place. You can't even upgrade the stat anymore.
So if that's the stat you want, then sit on the build that he's sitting on right now.
And now the play for the Baron. Arc second Gnar into the wall, taking way too much damage. The bind as well. The chain CC, and they're actually going to juke away from the Jinx Rocket to make sure nothing happens. Blue team has secured Baron Nashor. That is Team Envy. And Matt is suddenly very much on the wrong side of town. Doesn't dodge a single one of the shots, and that's going to be the shutdown. Ninja gets the kill for himself. 11-2, wearing a Baron buff, looking at a very fast game win now for Envy.
Yep. I mean, they've pretty much removed all the small percentage chances of comebacks for Team Liquid.
Yeah.
Now they're facing 2 inhibitors down, Baroned up, huge gold lead, playmaking from Proxen. Let's see if he can solo Phoenix.
Damage onto him, but Jint comes around and says, don't you dare one my mid laner. It's a 2v1. I'm on his team. Let me send you away. But there's going to be
at him.
Another, sends a cork at him.
Away.
There we go. Out he goes. Top inhibitor going to go down. Bot has respawned, but Proxen's working on it right now, and this is everything right now. This is the game-winning push in most situations right now. Envy looking to close out the rest of the base. Liquid needs some kind of a minor miracle to somehow stay alive. Not even win the game, but just stay alive for the next few minutes.
Yeah. Team Liquid are looking towards, next split, right? Next spring. They rebuilt their team. They're trying out these different subs, trying to figure out which parts work for the team, because they are doing some restructuring.
Yeah, we'll see. Got to figure out what they're actually going to play with. Do they keep Jint? Are they trying out more people? Of course, their subs have been locked for over a month right now. So at this point, this is just what they've had to work with after their recent changes of Dardoch and Fabi leaving the roster. And, well, it's time for Envy to move on to tomorrow's match at this point. Run it down mid, double super minions, every single lane. Baron buff still on for 2 minutes. Huge gold lead, everything they need to close this one out.
Definitely true. Ocean Drake not going to draw anyone away, no matter how tempting.
It is not worth the time. Your opponents gain golden XP while you're not pushing, as they're just grabbing the minion waves themselves. So close it out. That's the name of the game here for Envy. They've got the team ready to go. The binding lands on a fuse, but a great stun turns it back around. Still doesn't matter. They blow up the mid laner. The game-winning team fight, the match-winning team fight is here. Ninja fighting off with Matt. The stun from Lorlo just means nothing. Petrifying Gaze to knock them all down. That's 3 already for Envy. Arc second to the side, fighting Proxen. Jungle on jungle fight, but it just doesn't mean nearly enough. Black Shield is in. Ninja chased out by Jint. The final Nexus turret goes down. Max turret score, max fantasy points, and onto the Nexus they go. That's a 26-minute win. A crushing game win as Envy 3-0s the series. They will battle Cloud9 for the right to fight Immortals for a spot at Worlds. Envy finally getting a win in the postseason. Step 1 complete, beat Liquid. Step 2, beat Cloud9. Yes, it's more difficult, but obviously, yes, it is more difficult. But when your series looked this good, I would say Envy's chances look a lot better than we thought coming into today. Envy seems like they've been practicing hard, and they're ready to go.
Lod predicts 3-0. Lod delivers a 3-0 for the fans, and they did look progressively better as the series went on. Talked about, shoring up some of the early game mistakes, less of a goal deficit. Third game, no goal deficit at all. Come firing right out of the gates.
Beautiful stuff as the high fives with the fans come through. And we will see Envy tomorrow. Liquid have a long postseason ahead of them. North American LCS resumes in, I think, January next year, but there's nothing else for Liquid to play for. They are almost definitely going to find some new players on the roster. I don't imagine ArcSecond was the intended jungler for much of this, and they're going to have to find out what they want to do with the team, but they can find that out over the next few months. I'm sure we'll have lots of juicy postseason drama for them. So Hastro there.
We got to
owner
get
of
through
Envy.
Worlds first,
Of
man,
course.
for that.
There's a lot to go. There's more important drama there, as the Envy organization is like, all right.
The best kind of drama, international drama.
International drama, the best, absolutely.
Who's better, freak, huh?
North America.
There you go.
North America, best region. You heard it here
I
first.
didn't even have to tell him who's better than what. Doesn't matter.
Then all is best. Is best is the phrase now. So yeah, hey, props to Envy. The 3-0 looking better and better and better, coming back from some pretty difficult early games as well. You had great individual performances. Honestly, Seraph continued to look great the whole time around. Someone that we were definitely looking at a lot at the beginning of the year. And we're like, yeah, Envy, you know, Seraph, this big shot caller, new roster coming together, kind of at the last minute, but good players all around. We're ready to see him excel, and at least in this series he did.
Even the whole team, right? Team Envy was one of the new teams for the LCS.
Yeah.
They came out of the gate. They did have an easier schedule, like you said, but they had some success early on in the split, and things are going to get better for them, right? As
Yeah.
the organization grows, as the team grows, they had those communication issues, working with multiple languages,
Yeah.
bottom lane, worrying about, oh, are they talking smack about me in Korean right now?
Yeah, that was a concern a while
You have
back,
to
right?
get to the point, where you trust your teammates, at least on that level, that
Yeah.
there's
Yep.
not some shady stuff going on. So,
Sure.
definitely improvements for them, and we'll see how they do in the next stage.
And we'll see if they can improve in time to knock down C9 tomorrow. But now, going to pass it off to Dom Romer, who's stage side with a post-game interview with Laud.
Thanks, guys. I am joined on stage by Laud after a swift and very convincing win, especially after that laning phase. How does that feel winning Game 3 that convincingly?
It felt pretty good. We were all kind of saying, like, we're a little bit tired. We don't want this set to go to Game 4, so we pulled out the one tricks. We pulled out the Morgana, the Hakio special, and we did pretty well. We closed out the game pretty quickly. Felt good.
Yeah, it certainly did look pretty commanding over the course of it and very one-trick oriented. Now, you've had a few weeks to prepare, and of course, with the gauntlet, must have been a little bit tough. Tell me a little bit about your preparation leading up to this weekend.
Well, we had a lot of problems fixed as a team, but we just scrimmed hard in the past couple of weeks and tried to, fix very specific problems. In our series versus C9, we were able to win the first game, and then we sort of tilted and just lost 3-0 after that. So we just need to have a better mentality going into games, and I think we've gotten better at that. So yeah.
Well, you are going to be playing Cloud9 tomorrow in a new best of 5. So far, you've played them a handful of times. You've only taken a single game off of them. What's it going to take to win this series?
A miracle. No.
I'm sure you've got it. You've got him standing behind you as your coach.
I'm just kidding. No, I mean, they're a really good team. They were able to take a game off TSM, who's probably the best team NA has ever had, and they brought a competitive series to the TSM in the finals. So they're a really, really tough team, and it's gonna be hard to beat them. But if we can play sort of how we did in the first game when we played them in our BO5, and we can just play more consistently and not fall behind early, then I think we can win. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to it. Laud, again, congratulations on the swift 3-0. Looking forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. But we're going to toss it to the analysts to break that series down.
Thank you very much, Dom, and congratulations to both Laud and the rest of Team Envy for moving on to tomorrow in 3-0 fashion. I mean, we heard him talking at the very beginning of the day that they wanted it to be a short series because they don't want to replicate what C9 had to go through last year if they are going to make this run. You don't want to have to play 14 games to get to Worlds. You want to make it as few as possible, and save that energy for the future. So a 3-0 here, this game, the most convincing of the three. And I think that's the big thing, is that finally in Game 3, we see Team Envy get out to an early lead in contrast to the previous two.
Getting back into the groove of things. Obviously, they haven't played in a while, maybe a little bit of jitters, and not really knowing what the meta is going to bring, right? You probably have not played Liquid all the 2 weeks that you didn't play, so it's understandable that the first couple of games will be rough.
Yeah, I definitely think, though, that Envy kind of played their own meta, the Kassadin top, right? Having the Kennen ban against them all the time. They're definitely a team that is hard to prepare for and hard to see what's coming in the set.
Morgana support here.
Exactly.
Taking total control of that bot lane.
Yeah, and I think that was a big thing as well. You're talking about those early game advantages. Hakuo played this entire series really, really well. His 2 Braum games were very, very good. I think there's only one ultimate that was even close to not being awesome in that entire series. So big shout out to Hakuho for
Absolutely a nod to him. And then, as you mentioned, in that bot lane, the 2v2 having total control of it with the Morgana, it's nice to see that even in this meta of melee supports where they're taken back over, that someone can make a stab at something like Morgana in a ranged support and be effective.
And it takes balls to make Morgana work, because if you don't hit Q, you basically lost the lane. You offer absolutely nothing, and he just hit it time and time again on the guy that mattered.
Right.
He hit Jinx every single time, which, you know, maybe try to dodge him a little bit, but we all know that Morgana bindings are a bit magnetic.
Well, and that's into Braum, too, which is one of the few supports that has kind of the capability of tanking that skill shot for you, and that he can leap to you and help you out.
Yeah.
But yeah, very much having total control there. I do want to briefly dive into the gameplay here. We only have one replay to kind of summarize this whole game. 13 minutes in, a 3-for-0 for Envy in the mid lane.
And this is going to be Team Liquid trying to overforce their hand when you clearly see that there's priority from the dual lane from Envy. As soon as they overcommit, Ninja hits a nice little stun, the exhaust going to come in, and Proxy just is right there to help everybody out with the TP. Just overforcing their hand. Shouldn't have been there, shouldn't have tried it.
Yeah, Seraph gets that TP through, throws Phoenix against the wall, and the Syndra, like, honestly, you expect it to be able to take over the lane, and TL is going to be able to snowball their lane advantage, which I think is what they were going for, but they weren't able to get off the ground in this game because of a lot of the pressure that Proxy was providing. And again, yeah, he wanted to go for that kill. Not quite.
But I do think that that play above all else kind of speaks to the troubles that Team Liquid, this roster, is having, and that they weren't able to identify what you mentioned. The fact that their duo lane is already here in mid lane. They have beaten ours in rotation, so we will be outnumbered in this fight.
Yeah, can I mention that everybody on Envy out-damaged the highest damage dealer of Liquid in this game? That's how devastating this loss was for Liquid. It was an absolute annihilation.
I mean, the game was so short that you see the damage chart, only one guy is over 10K, so it really shows how quickly they snowballed this from the 10-minute mark on a tiny little lead to a 14.5K towards the end, which is
26 minutes.
Now, understanding that this was a dominant victory for Envy, I don't want to, sit here and say that maybe nothing good came out of this series for Team Liquid, as they are a team that is most likely, and now is, looking towards the spring split, right? That they were very aware coming into today that the odds were stacked against them, having a brand new jungler who has very little experience even in the jungle. He's a mid laner, primarily. And then, of course, you still have Jinx. So when we analyze Team Liquid's play, like what are we looking at this iteration of the roster going forward?
Well, I think it is too early to tell what the strengths and weaknesses are. 3 games where you lost. I mean, they're capable of getting advantages in the early game. You saw it 2 out of 3 times, but again, that's not a big enough sample size to see what the strengths and weaknesses are. I think they just wanted the stage practice for Jinth and ArcSecond here.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Jinth is somebody that plays a little bit better with Matt's style, aggressive. Maybe you can play through the bottom lane in the future. But ArcSecond, I went through his match history, and he's played over 150 games in the jungle in 20 days.
Okay.
So he's really, really grinding. He's playing everything, and that's not including scrims, right? So he's played even more on top of that. And he was rank 1 challenger. You don't get to rank 1 challenger without putting in a whole lot of work, a whole lot of time. So this guy has time and dedication, and he's able to actually, not get burnt out and exert himself a lot. So learning the jungle role, if he is going to continue in that role, I think is like, I just give him some time.
Yeah, we've seen worse debuts.
Well, and if you, that's a very good point. And then, kind of what you're speaking about in terms of work ethic, that's definitely something that, I mean, if I'm building a team, that's the kind of personality I want to bring in, right? If we're looking to replace Dardoch, who was a leader of the team, I want to bring in the guy who's training harder than anyone else, right? That's what we hear about Bjergsen all the time. Why is he so good? Because he's the first one downstairs in the morning to practice and the last one going to bed, right?
Like, last one out the club.
Exactly. yeah, exactly. That's Crumb's motto right there. No, but I feel like, if we are going to look at this team moving forward, that's kind of the, for me, the big standout with him is that he is the kind of personality I would want to bring into a team environment. That's going to conclude here for Team Liquid. Do want to flip back over, though, to Envy one more time. It's time to crown our player of the series. The honor this time goes to Envy's versatile top laner in Seraph.
Yeah, not only was he pulling 2 bans every single game in the unique Kennen ban, his Kassadin game, throwing them off at the beginning, and then able to play high damage Aurelia. Games 1 and 2, highest damage in the game / on his team in the second one. So I think that he's just been a very versatile top laner too, showing that he can play the Gnar and play some meta champions.
And the team fights he played out just looked so easy. He knew exactly what to do. You go for the backlane, you flash the right spells. It looked like he just had another day at the office when he was playing the fights, and that's so enjoyable to watch when you have a top laner that's able to really maneuver around the fights on different champions like the Gnar, Kassadin, and Aurelia.
I mean, I think that's what's so crazy about a versatile player who understands his role as he jumps from champion to champion. That's what's phenomenal about it. A lot of times you see someone flip from a tank to, you know, more of an assassin. They're still playing like a tank, right? But he kind of seamlessly was able to jump from role to role.
And the thing that I've learned about Seraph over time is this guy can play that 4-1 split push style and be an absolute monster, but he can play the team fight champions like Kennen and actually open up the game. So being that type of player, I know he has a very good understanding of top lane and how to play it, regardless of what champion he's on, like you said. But coming into the Cloud9 matchup, Impact has always been that roadblock for him. You think about when Envy were on their upward trend at the beginning of the split, ran into Impact, said he was the final boss, got knocked down, and Envy looked in a slump since then. And we were like, where'd Seraph go? And then it happened in playoffs again, where you win game 1, and then Impact just shows up and is this beast.
And Impact has only looked better as the weeks of playoffs went on. And of course, now we got to take time to look at our updated regional qualifier tournament bracket, because as you mentioned, Envy will be advancing to face Cloud9 tomorrow following the conclusion of the EU regional qualifier match. So let's continue to break down this series a little bit. We talked about the top lane being a contentious one. Where else are we looking to be kind of the make or break in this matchup tomorrow?
C9 Envy, I mean, the maker...
Well, we have evidence
in the
of
conception itself. I feel like Envy honestly is not looking to have a good shot at this. Cloud9, as Lot had mentioned, brought TSM to a competitive series, which almost was game 5. At that point, Envy was barely able to take a game off of Cloud9. It's going to look, and this was a much weaker Cloud9 weeks ago in the quarterfinals. So I don't think that Envy has much of a shot. If anything, just the dual lane strength could be one window.
That's what I was going to say. But even then, you look at Sneaky and Smoothie. Smoothie's been a very impressive bot laner and in terms of matching up against Hakuho, who we just had some praise for. We'll have to see maybe if he has a response for that Morgana. Either way, that's going to take place tomorrow. We've got to thank you for watching. But for those of you who are still hungry for some more league action, the International Wildcard Finals are off and rolling over at watch.lolesports.com. Now, for myself, Crumbs, Irene, the casters, and the entire broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you mañana.
The North American regional qualifiers begin as Liquid takes on Team Envy. Matt's running out of health. He's not level 6. One more hit, he'll do it, and Lot gets the final attack, but here comes the re-engage. It's too much AoE. This could be a tragedy now for Liquid.
I'm marking mid, I'm marking mid. I'm gonna be in all range. I'm gonna be in all range in 5.
No flash Mel's hard. I'm coming to Mel's, I can ult.
I'm on blood ulti. Blood. We got him.
Outside.
Alley.
I got a Sheen. I'm going.
Nice.
Alright, guys, like 20 more games until we win Worlds.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, flash the way, doesn't quite get stunned, but it's going to be enough anyway. Lorlo gets the kill on a Proxen, and now it's poor Seraph underneath the turret. Matt taking a lot of damage. One more hit will do it. They're going to knock him down. Seraph gets one already, and now Jinta in a whole world of trouble. He's got full mana, and an Ocean Drake's actually giving him some health back. There's the body slam flash, and Proxen. Quad's unstoppable. Here comes the dive on in. Phoenix got to run away. Seraph in the back line. He's already picked up Jin. Phoenix going to run for this one. Arcseeker running out of health as well. Jumps over the wall, but here comes Seraph anyway. This could be the end of the season for Liquid. They need to win this one to pull it back in. Lorlo will be the final casualty of this one. Ninja actually is going to survive.
I'm shield down.
I'm going in.
Alright, I'll take.
Okay, Shinja's dead.
I bind. Rek'Sai.
The game-winning team fight, the match-winning team fight is here. Ninja fighting off with Matt. The stun from Lorlo just means nothing. Petrifying gaze to knock them all down. That's 3 already for Envy. A crushing game win as Envy 3-0s the series. They will battle Cloud9 for the right to fight Immortals for a spot at Worlds.